Welcome to the newest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Today I am joined by Mr. Jayson Casper, crypto trader, homesteader, fitness man. Looking forward to today's conversation, talking about trading Bitcoin on the farm. Literally. Give me that 5x5 if you can hear me. Be sure to smash that like button, and we're going to get started here in just moments. If you're watching on replay, fast forward to about the 4-minute, 20-second mark. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be joined in just a few moments by Mr. Jayson Casper. But before we begin, we got a few quick messages from the channel, a little channel promo. Encourage you to sign up for my mailing list. Make sure you're subscribed to both of my YouTube channels here on Rice TVx, as well as Rice Against the Grain. Before we get into it, take time to visit my website at ricetvx.com. There you can sign up for my mailing list so you can stay up to date on all things rice. Once you've signed up for my mailing list, you will find links for my channels and socials towards the top of the website. Make sure you are subscribed to both of my YouTube channels, Rice Against the Grain and Rice TVx. If you want to support my work directly, as well as get early access, exclusive content for both channels, plus more, join my Patreon. And as always, man, I'm going to do a shout out to the sponsors of Rice TVx who make it possible for me to do this full time. You can find information in every video description for Pre-Search, the decentralized search engine for the people, and Monarch Wallet, a decentralized wallet that you possess and control your private keys. Information is in every video description. In case you might have missed the interview that I released, when did I release this? I released it yesterday. This was my third interview with the author from The Creature from Jekyll Island, Mr. G. Edward Griffin. The third interview is up and available, so if you missed it, be sure to check it out. Also, I would encourage you to make sure you're taking advantage of my partnership with ITM Trading. That's right. You could take advantage of an absolutely free call. A free call, a strategy call, learning about the gold and silver strategy at ITM Trading. I also wanted to share that I have recently partnered up with ITM Trading. So if you want to schedule a gold and silver strategy call to build your wealth shield and support Rice TVx, be sure to use my specific landing page that you see on the screen, and I will also include custom Calendly links and an 800 number that you can utilize to schedule your strategy call with the ITM Trading professionals. And again, it is a way to support Rice TVx. All right, I think we've given plenty of time to get everybody situated and joining us in today's live stream. We are about to bring in the man himself. Here we go, Mr. Jayson Casper. Thank you for joining me on today's live stream. How's it going, my friend?
Rice, man, it's an honor to be here. I'm doing really well.
Likewise, man. We met on an episode of Around the Blockchain. I've seen you on other episodes, and I've been really impressed with your answers, your style, learning about you as a homesteader and all the things you got going on in addition to the cryptocurrency space. It really impresses me, and it's really parallel to my journey. I'm not a homesteader, but a lot of the things that you are about, I'm about. So I appreciate that. I'm definitely looking forward to the conversation. Before we begin, I want to shout out the Casper crew that's in the house. That's what you call your people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
when I was a little tiny infant, when I was a little baby rice, little tiny rice, my great grandfather, because I was bald and white, nicknamed me Casper, like the friendly
Interesting,
ghost.
bro.
Yeah, I just thought I would share that. So I'm going to have links down below for everything that we talk about on today's show. Another thing that I would definitely encourage people to do is, if you guys are traders, I would encourage you to make sure you're taking advantage of my partnership that I got going on with Crypto Faces Market Cipher. So I will have some information in the video description. I will also have it down below in the pinned comment after the live stream. And I was trying to find the actual promo that I had up here. I have everything so disorganized. So scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So Jayson, for people who might be unfamiliar with you, do you mind kind of introducing yourself to the Rice audience that may be unfamiliar with you as a content creator?
Sure. Well, I'm Jayson Casper. What's going on, y'all? And I mean, as a content creator, I'm pretty much just I trade cryptocurrency. I'm a TA guy. I would consider myself to be a day trader these days, and that's kind of what I do as a content creator. But you know, I'm more about, just in my personal life, more about just being as self-sufficient as possible. Like you were saying, I'm a homesteader. I raise my own animals. I grow my own food. And like you were saying before, you're not a homesteader, but I think the desire within a person to be self-sufficient and that kind of mentality goes right along with homesteading. And that's how we probably all got into crypto and precious metals and probably some other similar ideologies and stuff like that. So
Are you a precious metals person?
absolutely, man.
All
Absolutely.
right. I like that, because some
Since
people in the
way
crypto
before I got
space,
into crypto.
good. I just, a lot of people in the crypto space don't seem to be on that same page, unfortunately.
Right.
And
A lot
what
of traders too. Like most traders, they don't hodl Bitcoin. They don't stack silver or anything. They're just, trading. But
one thing is really cool is I've got in addition to that partnership with ITM Trading, which is Lynette Zhang. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her as a content creator, but if you're not, I'll have to turn you on to Lynette Zhang. But I have a partnership with Money Metals Exchange. And one of the cool things about Money Metals, and I'll pull up the website real quick. There is my partnership. What it is offering with this particular month is an enter to win 10 ounces of silver eagles. And the way that you do that is by making any purchase between the beginning and end of the month using my specific link, which is moneymetals.com/rice, and you'll be entered to win 10 ounces of silver. There's going to be 3 winners. Last month, there was only 3 people that ordered because I announced the announcement late, and all 3 people won. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that partnership. But what I was getting the point at, and I don't know how you think about this, Jayson, is you see right up here, it says we accept Bitcoin and other cryptos. So instead of taking profit per se, you could essentially just buy gold and silver. And if you're trying to maintain your purchasing power and you're not going to be trading actively with that profit or whatever that is, then gold and silver would be that safe haven that would protect against the inflation that we're seeing, against the loss of the purchasing power since the Federal Reserve got involved with the dollar and etc. So what do you think about taking your profits in something like gold and silver?
yeah. Well, it's funny because like the only reason I got into cryptocurrency for the first place is so I could stack tangible assets. I look at it as a means to acquire actual wealth, which would be things like land, even animals, and precious metals just being a preservation of your purchasing power. I mean, historically, gold and silver has been money. Its ability to purchase things, right, has not really gone down at all in the past 6,000 years of recorded history. So that's always kind of been my goal. Like I never really, I like Bitcoin. I'll be honest with you. I like cryptocurrency, especially when Bitcoin first started out. I think the space was a little bit more libertarian minded, but I'm not necessarily hodling this Bitcoin because I think it's going to be worth like millions of dollars in the future. Like I'm into this because I want to actually become more self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? So I
That's my
actually,
mentality.
the last bull run, that's how I was able to actually buy a property to homestead. During the 2017 bull run, I pretty much put my whole life savings into Bitcoin, and I didn't sell it at the exact top, but I I sold pretty close around that area from 10K. I think 10K and 16K were my two big sellouts.
Congrats, man. No, it's awesome to hear that, especially, having a family. I mean, I'm just impressed by the entirety of it, man. I mean, just that you've taken the actual initiative. I've talked about a lot of these things, and living in a city doesn't exactly make it easy. I am looking to get a house. I'm looking for a little bit of property so I can do some actually growing of my own food. I would like to be more self-sufficient. I think surrounding yourself with people that are like that, like-minded, helps, and being physically around people like that. Because I think if you can add in kind of a community aspect to it, you can make it a game changer for your local area as well, which
Oh
I,
yeah.
I totally want to dive into the homesteading. I know that's a really important part about, the things you talk about, and I want to put a lot of focus in on that. But for everybody else that's watching, I want to kind of jump straight into the TA, if you don't mind. And
Yeah, for
before I
sure.
do your screen share, you had a really cool Gary Gensler meme or something up. Can you pull
Oh
that
yeah.
back up? Yeah, I'm
Sure.
gonna pull that up.
Okay.
Is that one of your before I pull it, before I show this to everybody, is that one of your trade indicators, or what would
Yeah,
you call that?
that is absolutely a trade indicator. Yep.
Okay. What do you call this indicator?
This is the dreaded bald-headed Gary Gensler market cipher B pattern.
It kind of reminds me of mountains with balls on top of, or boobs. It was really what I was
It
gonna
does
say.
kind of look like, yeah, it looks like those things. Yeah. So I mean, basically, it's just the way I describe the way bearish divergences look on market cipher when you've got the momentum waves coming down and the price is getting higher. I always make little memes to kind of describe how the divergences look.
No, I love that. That's what I enjoyed about the stuff that I saw with you on around the blockchain, man. You're so creative. I love your sense of humor.
I'm just trying to have a good time, man. Like, people take it so serious. It is as it is. I mean, trading's a very serious thing, but you
But
know,
you make it fun.
you got to make it lighthearted. Otherwise, it could just put you in a bad mood.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we looking at here? I'm going to let you just take the reign of where, because I mean, we are at, today is Thursday, the 11th of May. We just had the CPI data come out.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
do you think that is what's kind of pushed the price down over the past couple days?
Um,
Or
I
is it
don't
just
know.
kind of in the technicals were already saying we were heading down?
So, I mean, the way I'm looking at this right now is I do believe that the bottom is probably in, at least the bottom of the cycle is in. And the reason I say that is because, just historically speaking, when we take a look at Bitcoin from pretty much its inception, the bottom of the cycle always comes in at like the area between the 786 and the 886 Fibonacci level. And it usually happens about a year out from the halving, right? So we can see that, like, literally for every single cycle we've had going back to 2012, a year before the halving, we bottom out in the fib level. Then we kind of range for a while, and then boom, the halving happens into the bull market, happens in 2015, happens in 2019. And, even with the double bottom in 2019 for the Roni, we still held that fib level. And it's happening again right here in 2023. So I definitely consider, like, we're at the bottom of the cycle, which means
Well,
if we put in some kind of lower low, I'm still bullish. I'm still super bullish.
okay, that's what I was going to ask you. When you say lower low, are you talking about from where we're at now? Or are you talking about from the price that we've hit at 15.7 ish?
I'm even talking about a price that we hit from 15.7-ish. I do have to be honest though, like when I look at the chart, I would, if I was a betting man, and I am, I would say that the bottom's in. Like, I say that the bottom is in. But obviously we can't know that for certain. But the reason why, I'm looking at what's happening right now is, look, we're coming up to a massive resistance. It's been support for the past 2 years, 2021, 2022. And so now we're just coming up into this value area low of this old range. Like, if we can reclaim this box, we could have like a really powerful relief rally before the halving up to like 42K. But when we look at market cipher, it's like, as we're coming up to there, we're printing a top, the VWAP's pointing down. And when we look at some of the lower time frames, this is a weekly. If we look at like the 5-day, or the 4-day, we can see that we're getting bearish divergences here, right? So the momentum waves are getting lower, giving us the Gary Gensler bald-headed pattern here. So I'm looking for some kind of a retest to happen right here. One of the reasons why I also think the bottom is in is just looking at market cipher is, we've got a money flow crossover right here, which is pretty bullish. Like money flow is starting to cross above that 0 line. And I know it's coming back into the purple, but just the fact that it's getting higher over time, the fact that we put in a bullish divergence, we've actually never done that before for Bitcoin. So what I'm looking to happen is, right now we're in between two ranges. We're in between this lower range that we had here from like last summer until basically the breakout in March. And so the first retest place is going to be that $25,000 level. We got the neckline of an inverted head and shoulders. It's a 382. And it is the value area high of this old range as well. So like if I go ahead and turn off the head and shoulder, we can see that like this right here was considered like oversold for pretty much the entirety of from May 2022 until the breakout. So what used to be considered what used to be considered overbought, this is considered overbought. What used to be considered overbought now will be considered oversold if we make our way back down here. But if we come back down inside of this blue line, then we could see a pretty significant move to the downside. But one of the major areas I'm personally keeping my eye on is just going to be the fib levels, because the fib levels, they don't mess around. So I don't even have the right fib levels on right now.
I thought I was unmuted. Now I'm unmuted. No, the fib levels have been pretty precise. I think it's really interesting how sacred geometry kind of comes into play when it comes to trading in general, just with the fractals and the fib levels. It's very, very, it's very cyclical. It's in it, and it's very interesting.
It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind how price respects like the golden ratio, especially since I know people
price
say
respects
like
nature. It would be a good way of putting it.
People say like, oh, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy because people know about it, but that's not true. Because when you're watching like the order book, most traders are doing the wrong thing at the right time, like right at that Fibonacci golden pocket. That's why it makes for such good trades, because that's the place where like if we're dumping, all of a sudden you'll have millions of people just FOMO short right into like the golden ratio, and they're all doing it at the same time on all different continents, at all different times of day. And somehow there's like this collective decision that humanity makes at the golden pocket, and they wouldn't be making the wrong decision. That sounds
so revolutionary the way that you're saying it like that, though. Just like the synchronicity of the connection of the human consciousness, it's and how that goes into play with the markets. I like the way you think, my friend.
Sometimes like I think about that for a long time, and like even question like, how much free will do we even have? Like, I don't know. I get into some weird thoughts, but we don't have to talk about it.
I would love, and because I have that other channel, Rice Against the Grain, I do cover other stuff. So I would love to invite you on for a conversation that has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. I think that would be beautiful. I think now looking at the charts here after you're done, because you were pretty meticulous with showing the halving events that are taking place with Bitcoin, but we have an upcoming halving for Litecoin. When did you get involved in crypto, Jayson?
I got involved. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2016. Okay. I had known about it since 2014, but
so under 1,000K. Was your purchase area?
It was definitely under 1,000K. It was even under $1,000. But I think it was like 500 when I bought my first Bitcoin, and I literally like FOMO'd my whole life savings into it. This was like before I was into investing or trading at all, and I'd already been big into precious metals, like around 2012 when Ron Paul was running for president. I started to like, listen to a lot of stuff he was saying about just
in the Fed.
Yeah, the Fed. Yeah, understanding what's happened to the dollar since 1913 and since 1971. And, I'm like, man, why would I be wasting my time saving these dollars when, in 100 years from now, it will be worthless. So I was getting into precious metals, and when you start listening to podcasts about that, people start talking about crypto, and it wasn't until I guess 2016 when it finally like clicked for me, like this is as close as you can get to gold digitally, right? There's no one owns it, as long as you have your keys or your own bank, can't, peer to peer. And from that point onward, I told my wife, I listened to like one podcast. This guy thought Bitcoin was going to $1 million in 10 years. And knowing nothing about investing or TA or anything, I just FOMO'd in. I told my wife, we need to put our whole life savings into Bitcoin. And I thought she was going to give me some pushback because like I'm like a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. Like if I have an idea, I just do it. And if there's an issue, I'll figure it out along the way. But she's like the responsible one. So she right away said okay to it. And I was like, that's a sign because, no pushback. So that's what we did. At the time, it wasn't very much. It was less than 100,000. I think it was like around 50K that we had been meticulously saving. And we just put it into Bitcoin. And then it was a really...
Well, people just do some math there. I mean, if you put a significant amount of money of savings into Bitcoin back in 2016, and we're talking about under $1,000 per Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has gotten up to close to around the 69,000 area, and you studying charts, you probably made sure that when you took profits, I'm just imagining, just putting my thoughts out there, that you would have made sure that you had sold at various top intervals. At the same time while buying back in and out. But no, what you just did you blow the wad on a bad trade?
Well, no, I mean it turned out really well. Like I ended up doing like a 10x, and that's how I was able to get our homestead with those gains. I didn't know anything about investing at the time. I was just
zero.
I wanted to make money. Zero. I didn't even know what a candlestick was. So I really look at it as the Lord just having favor on me. But after seeing what was possible with that bull run, that really led me to want to now get into trading and investing, actually understanding, what's going on with the market, because I knew that people could make money in any market, regardless of what was happening. If price was going up, if it was going down, I knew people like shifting assets. They're going from gold to real estate, to the stock market, to cash. And I'm like, I want to learn this because I wanted to go in the direction of, I don't want to have a job. I don't want to have a boss. I just want to like live a simple life, grow my own food, and just like, live with my family as peacefully as possible. So that seems like the direction I wanted to go. But yeah, so
That's
after
awesome,
that
man.
first bull run,
I love that. I mean, just what you just said. I mean, it's awesome where you can make an investment, not know necessarily, ahead of time, like even a calculated move. That investment turned out to be well enough to where you could change your life for you and your family, to where you got your own place, you're self-sufficient, you're growing your own food, you got animals. That's why we're talking about. And dude, I had so much fun creating this thumbnail. But
I love the thumbnail, bro. It's good.
Trading Bitcoin on the farm. I wasn't sure about the green around it. I was thinking about taking that off, but it kind of works. But the cows, man, and then that little chicken right in front of you.
I wish I had cows, bro. Yeah, but I like the cows too.
There's time. There's time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to go that route, to be honest with you, because it's just
too much.
The amount that has to go into cows.
But I saw a picture of you at chicken, and you got goats.
Not right now. Not right now. That's one of my 2023 goals.
Okay. No, we'll get into that with the homesteading. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. So, what do you think? Like, what is your thoughts on Bitcoin, just from your speculation, from your TA perspective, for the next few months on the short term, going into the end of the year? What are you anticipating?
Into the end of the year, I'm anticipating probably just ranging between like, the mid low 20s and around $30,000. So I think it's going to be super boring. It's going to be really hard for me to make a video every day about Bitcoin. But I really like, I'm an if then scenario kind of trader. Like I don't make predictions. I'm an if then scenario kind of guy. So right now, what I'm looking at is, we have a potential head and shoulders pattern forming right here. We've failed to make a higher high right now. And if we lose this thing, if we make a lower low on the daily time frame and we lose like 26.4, that's officially now bearish market structure on the daily time frame, which means it becomes more probable than not that we could look for more downside, which means instead of buy the dip mode, I'm going to short the rise mode. And the technical target of this head and shoulders is actually going to be coming in right around like the $23,000 zone, which is actually a pretty key zone of support right now. So I'm basically just looking to trade like sideways ranges here. I mean, that's what I've been doing. That's the way I trade. I'm always looking at sideways ranges.
Well, it
So
sounds very crab market.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
kind of what I refer to it as.
Yeah, it's just we're gonna range, we're gonna grind around. We're gonna get big moves like this to the upside. We're gonna get big moves like this to the downside. Definitely make for some good clickbait thumbnails in the moment, but I don't think we're really gonna see like those crazy euphoric pumps until like 2025. I think 2023 range there'll be some good trades to take. 2024 we're gonna start like a steady uptrend. Then 2025 is just gonna be where everyone is going to be talking about Bitcoin. Even, CNN is going to be having analysts on talking about why maybe you should add some Bitcoin to your portfolio, and that will be the top. I'm just looking for the 4-year cycle to continue.
Right.
So I have more Bitcoin on spot right now than I've ever had in my life. I've been super aggressive under 20K, and let's see what happens. It's either going to be really good for me or really bad.
Well, I mean, in the long term, it's going to be really good. I mean, we can't definitely say what's going to happen on the short term because there's so many things right now on the horizon of potential black swans or gray swans or whatever. If we think they're not quite black, but there's a lot on the table, man. It just seems like anything at any moment could break the TradFi system, the whole legacy system. I mean, the banks are in a consolidation mode. We have the dollar being challenged. And speaking of the dollar, I would like to look when you get a chance at the DXY, because I know that
I got to pull up
Bitcoin and crypto and commodities are very correlated inversely to the DXY generally.
Yeah, this is the dollar here, and this is something interesting that I've been looking at. So right now, the dollar, interestingly enough, has been like trading this range since 2014 with like a clearly defined low and a clearly defined high. And we just like had a deviation out above the range with all these rate hikes. And now the dollar's coming back inside of that range, which there's a few different scenarios I'm looking at. So honestly, the fact that the dollar's losing this support makes me a little bit bearish on the dollar. And I think fundamentally the dollar's kind of bearish. Like, I mean, we're seeing they're calling it the de-dollarization. I don't think it's going to be as drastic or as fast as a lot of people think. But
no, it won't be as fast as people think, because actually this de-dollarization stuff, just to pause for a second, was going on in right before Trump became president. Like for several years, you had heard about the de-dollarization, the challenge of the US dollar's world reserve status. There was oil, petrol being sold for Chinese yuan, the gold issue. And then once Trump got into office, all of that kind of stopped and went away. And then as soon as Trump got out of office, picked right back up. And then we're seeing the BRICS nation stuff kind of like rebounding, because it's been something that's been in process for, I think, something like 20 years now, but it's rebounded, and definitely is going to challenge the status of the dollar. But until the rest of the world gets out of the dollar, it will be a transition. It definitely won't be overnight. So that's why I'm very much still paying attention to the dollar, because the Federal Reserve is saying they're going to do what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep saying, why are they raising interest rates when you're seeing all these bank collapses? But this was kind of the controlled demolition designed to be this way. Then they're going to continue to raise interest rates and have more bank failures.
Agreed. Like the path we're on now, either the whole system's going to break, like banks are going to have no money and they're going to take our money to try and, bail-ins, or there's going to be some kind of like hyperinflationary event. And the more that we see nations forsake the dollar, the worse inflation is going to get, because, most dollars that have been created in the past few years are not even onshore, right? You got foreign countries holding dollars, holding U.S. bonds. And if people aren't trading in dollars anymore, well, those dollars are going to flood back here. That could be, I mean, worst case scenario, Weimar Republic type stuff, because we've been so irresponsible, and the
Yeah, we have.
arrogance, the
That's I mean,
arrogance.
we have. I mean, it's what's really I mean, it's monopoly money ever since the Bretton Woods Agreement. You had
Yeah.
the 1933 stuff with the gold confiscation, kind of taking us sort of off where it wasn't like 100%. It was more fractionally backed with the precious metals, and Bretton Woods Agreement, which sealed the dollar as the world reserve currency, and then 71 with the Nixon shock, which ended the gold standard officially, which is technically unconstitutional. And there's a lot of nations that wanted their gold. I think France was one of the biggest ones. I think they actually came into like New York with boats to pick up their gold, and they were just told that there was no gold, and they ended. So I mean, it's the rest of I understand the rest of the world being upset, because all we're using is just these units of account.
Yeah.
That are just like, and anything could be the notes that like, because it's literally monopoly money. Because I've got this really cool meme. I'll pull up. It's a little comment, 2 memes I put together on one little thumbnail here. The only difference between these 2 pieces of paper is your belief that one has more value than the other. And then you can even see where these US dollars resemble the colors of the actual monopoly notes.
That's crazy, man. I never actually noticed that.
Yeah, it's a game, man. Everything's a game. You got to learn the rules of the game, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry for the sidetrack there.
No, we can sidetrack all you want, man. It's your show.
So, the dollar. I mean, there's no really way of anticipating what will happen over the next few months based off your technicals.
Well, I would say this, right? So this right here was the Rona. This was the top of the Bitcoin bull market, and back here, this was the top of the Bitcoin bull market as well, which is just very interesting to see these correlations of the past few Bitcoin cycles lining up with the dollar trading in this range. So, although I can't really predict what's going to happen, I would say that the fact that the dollar is now losing this key support means more downside is possible, but it looks like we're putting in some kind of a double bottom right here. Like we've got a bullish divergence, and it looks like we might potentially make some kind of a double top, either like an equal high or a lower high. And, for the rest of 2023, I could see the dollar kind of pumping. But then if we reverse and we start to see this money flow curving back into the purple, look what happens when money flow curves into the purple. Historically speaking, it brings us down quite a bit to the low of the range. So I could see, 2024 starting out, the dollar just kind of starting to dump. But there's, like you say, there's so many things up in the air. Like, in July with the Fed Now thing going on, like, I guess just like you with the gray swans and the black swans, like something crazy is going to have to happen to get people to embrace a digital dollar. Something scary.
It's gonna have to be like a problem, reaction, solution situation by design, and it could be the banking system. It could be the loss of all the money, because if there's like the FDIC and the government has said that they will make sure that depositors are made whole up to the insured amount, and but if you did that with everybody, it would bankrupt the government. So
that there's no way that that's possible.
Now the rest of the world wanted to just like say anything that we have in debt in US dollars, we're willing to just lose it, and then and literally just switch over. Then we could see that Zimbabwe, Venezuelan hyperinflation event. But I'm not really sure the rest of the rest of the world, unless they switched over, we still have the best liquidity. The dollar, unfortunately, as a imaginary piece of whatever it is still has the most liquidity.
The
but biggest I think the warning flags liquidity. Are there. Yeah, no, definitely. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing being said, because you would never have heard these things even be mentioned.
No.
Like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, we would have went to war over that. We would have
Gaddafi'd the crap out of them.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it is interesting, because I was just thinking to myself, like OPEC, like I mean, like the whole petrodollar thing, the deal with Saudi Arabia, it's like, well, we're basically agreeing to protect them against their enemies, like Iran is probably their biggest adversary. Well, now Iran and Saudi Arabia are kind of like buddying up, and I'm pretty sure China's the one who like helped them negotiate. So it's like, man, just the fact that Saudi Arabia would openly talk about trading not in the dollar shows that
It's a problem.
no one's really concerned. Like, yeah, like they don't think the U.S. has either the balls or the ability to do anything about it. So it's just a very interesting turning of the tides because, like you said, a few years ago, in 2003, for example, I think something happened back then that, if someone tries to not use a dollar, then bad things happen to you.
Yeah, truly. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely losing its power. Now, since you pulled back the Bitcoin chart, I want to ask you one more Bitcoin question and ask you if you could pull up the Litecoin chart after that. But with
Sure.
Bitcoin, since we're talking about 2023 being pretty much a crab market between like a 20, 30K range, roughly, are you anticipating that post halving that we should see new all-time highs within the end of 20 based off cycles? And it's just a question, just are you anticipating all-time highs post halving end of 2024ish, early 2025?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I'm anticipating. I don't know how much higher we're gonna go. We might not hit 100K. I'm pretty open to that. I think my biggest
Post halving, you mean?
yeah, I'm not betting the farm on hitting 100K. Um, let's see what happens, but I'm
But
definitely
you
gonna
like me,
sell a lot
sir,
at 80K.
you're not in it to sell it for a bunch of dollars. You're in it to be more self-sufficient,
Oh yeah, for certain. I
which
mean, I have a whole plan right now, like with my current Bitcoin investment. Like I kind of want to maybe after this next bull cycle get some real estate on the cheap if there's like a big housing collapse, and hopefully use that to build some more passive income. So I've got like a whole like kind of plan for this cycle.
smart
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I definitely want to learn more about those ideas. So the Litecoin halving is coming up. I'm looking at the halving block reward countdown, which is putting it roughly at August 3rd, which would be like 3 months away, a little less than 3 months away. And generally, I mean, like in past cycles, I don't know if you've paid attention to the Litecoin halving cycle, but generally you see something similar with Litecoin happen, not as much as higher of a scale as Bitcoin, but something similar after the Litecoin halving.
Doesn't Litecoin rally into its halving and then kind of like
That's what I was thinking. It's one of those almost what we would call like a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So yeah,
yeah,
it sells into it. So that would put us right at a little less than 90 days away from the halving roughly. So I was curious as to what the charts would be telling you as far as like some upward action within the next 3 months with Litecoin.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely could. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really analyzed Litecoin in depth in that way, but I'm just kind of looking at the Coinbase chart right here.
Okay.
It is
And I
very
appreciate you being honest with like, not
yeah.
just feeding me a bunch of shit saying like, what you're talking about with something. But if you'd never looked at it and you just want to do this on the fly, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I've never really looked at it, but it does look pretty interesting.
The thing about Litecoin is like, because right now we don't have any clarity on regulation, but we do know that Bitcoin is not a security. And I would really think, and most people are already kind of in the same position, that any coin, cryptocurrency that would have followed that protocol, which is a fair launch situation, no ICO, anything like that,
Mhm.
Litecoin should fall under the category of being safe as a commodity and not be a security, which would put it in a unique position depending on what happens, especially with the XRP case and what happens with this onslaught that the government and the SEC is bringing against crypto.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely it could then be, what everyone a lot of people were calling it the silver to Bitcoin's gold.
Yeah, I mean the
It could
ordinals
really turn
thing,
into
like
that.
so yeah, we saw like the complaint from people. We saw the increased transaction fees on the Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't that have a lot to
if
do
they
with the BRC
It
20
had a
token?
lot to do with the BRC, and if they would have just used Litecoin for that, there was way more space to do it, and it's already a code fork of Bitcoin. There's only difference is that block time and the amount, so being 4 times higher. So it's instead of a 10-minute block time, it's 2.5 minutes on average, and then it's instead of 21 million total supply, it's 84 million. But otherwise it's Bitcoin code. It's got Taproot, which is allowing for the BRC20. And it even has that Mimblewimble extension allowing for privacy and fungibility. It's not on chain, but it's a side chain fungibility aspect. So if I wanted to send you Litecoin privately, I could.
I didn't even know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
no, they've been doing some interesting things. And I think that's one of the reasons why too, like it wasn't just because Charlie Lee worked at Coinbase, but it was listed on Coinbase. It was one of the only 3 for the longest time.
Yeah, I remember.
Grayscale still has their Litecoin, deals with Litecoin. A lot of institutions deal with Litecoin. I think PayPal has Litecoin listed. So there's to me, there's a reason for this. Just a little side note. I was trying to like kill a little time while you were kind of looking at the charts too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about the fundamentals of a lot of different cryptos, just because in my journey of getting into Bitcoin and pretty much not knowing anything about investing, I've pretty much devoted my studies to becoming like a trader. So, that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I don't even really, even a lot of times when I'm on around the blockchain, like I don't really know anything about blockchain. So that's why DZ always tries to throw me TA questions, because like I don't know. But it's like
Well, maybe if we collaborate more, maybe some of the stuff I can help rub some stuff off on you and like pass
yeah,
on
for
some,
sure, bro.
because I'm not necessarily a technical analysis trader, and I would like to be doing some things to change up some ideas on my channel. So I'd like to talk with you after our live stream or another time about some of those ideas.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm always down. I mean, I love talking about TA, and I'm down to learn about, different blockchains and stuff like that too.
Do you mind looking at the XRP chart, since a lot of people have been speculating on the case, either the decision being made and being withheld for a certain time period, or anticipating that they're going to be winning this case sometime soon? I know that the charts don't necessarily indicate the
Let's see if I
case.
can get to a better.
Do you ever look at XRP, or what do you focus on?
I used to trade it. I used to trade it quite a bit. I've got some. I've taken some legendary XRP trades, but I have not lately really traded it at all. And let me see.
I'm not the biggest XRP fan, just because of the fact that it's, a banker's coin. It's trying to work with the legacy system. It's a World Economic Forum partner. Brad Garlinghouse is on the board of directors for the World Economic Forum. So all those things don't check out for me. But if
Sounds
people,
bullish though, if you're in it for the money.
I mean, if you're just trying to increase your stack, whatever that stack is, more respect to you. But if the people that call themselves the XRP army, it's like, are you really part of this banker army?
They probably are. They don't know.
I'm in the TradFi legacy system army, yo.
The useful idiots, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good way of. I mean, we're gonna get some thumbs down for this one.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Bring it on. No, it's all good. I'm very outspoken about XRP. I don't have a problem with people trading. I own a little stack of XRP in anticipation that, hoping for the crypto space, that they have success with this SEC case.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm bullish on XRP, like just because of all the reasons you said. I have not traded it since the last time I traded XRP. I actually longed it like literally from the bottom. And I don't mean to brag about that, but I did. So that's the last time
you
I
are
touched
bragging
it.
about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty epic, bro. It was pretty epic because actually when I took the trade, I had an alert set here for so long. Like, just wanted to grab all this liquidity, and and I was outside. I had to chase a rooster at night because it escaped, because I hatched all these eggs, and we eat the roosters, right? So we had all these roosters. They get into fights. One like flew out of the little run area and then would like live in the woods. So at night I had to like hunt it down. And while I'm like hunting it down, I get the alert and I like pull out my phone and I'm like flipping through Bybit to take the trade. I took the trade while I'm holding this rooster. It was epic, bro. But
so you keep the female chickens but eat the roosters.
Correct. Yeah, because
that makes sense.
Yeah, they'll just fight, and they're aggressive too. Like they're mean. They're not nice.
Do you sell fresh eggs?
We give away fresh eggs. If you want some, I'll mail you some.
Word up.
I don't know how they'd stay in the mail, but yeah. But right now it's crazy, bro. We get about 20 eggs a day. So.
Nice. How many hens do you have?
We've got about 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any other cryptocurrencies that you're looking at that you're paying attention to besides Bitcoin and what we've talked about?
Just as far as like my portfolio goes, I hold a lot of Monero, Pirate Chain.
You're a privacy guy. I like that.
Yeah, because
So do you follow the crypto vigilante and dollar vigilante stuff? Okay,
I do. Yeah,
I should introduce you to Raphael. He's been on my show before, and we've done some collaborations at conferences together.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. You have some crazy people on your show. You got Edward Griffin on. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate. I mean, my channel is highly shadow banned. I did more interviews with John McAfee than anybody else. I did 7 interviews with him before he passed away. There's a playlist for that. I did the first public interview with his widow, Janice, who's a good friend, after John's passing. I mean, that was my 3rd interview with G. Edward Griffin. I've had Charlie Lee on a couple times, Charles Hoskinson, Roger Ver came on to talk about like the Bitcoin hash wars took place in 2017 with the block size. And the creation of Bitcoin Cash. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just my channel is highly shadow banned. My very first interview, you might be familiar with Adam Kokesh.
I'm familiar.
Okay. So he's a friend of mine, and he was my very first interview back in when I started my channel in 2018. And he was highly shadow banned. Yeah. I've been around for over 5 years and have a little over 32,000 subscribers compared to your channel, which I'm going to share. I have links for everything, so all the people who aren't unfamiliar with your YouTube channel, but you're at almost 100K, man. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. That's my goal for 2023 is 100K. I've been trying real hard to do everything right to please the YouTube algorithm.
I've tried to clean up my channel. I just don't think there's any I don't think there's any hope for me at this time, but I've got a plan that I'm going to try to execute and see if it works. I want to gamify something, and if it doesn't work, then I just got to deal with the grassroots growing. But for people that are not subscribed to your channel, there is links down below in the video description, and I will share towards the end of the video. But make sure you guys are subscribed over at Jayson Casper's YouTube channel.
I pretty much only talk about Bitcoin. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I pretty much exclusively trade Bitcoin.
Okay, that's straight. I respect it.
During planting season, during the winter, I'll be trading everything. But right now, it's like I trade Bitcoin on autopilot, pretty much. Like it's like part of my routine. It's like going to the bathroom in a way. Like I just look at the Bitcoin chart. I'm so like I know how it moves. I know how it respects levels and all the little nuances. And so if I could even just get a couple good trades in a week, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, no, if
during the summer,
you're playing it safe, which is, a good strategy. And I think people having strategies is definitely one of the most important things that people can do. But being that you had mentioned that prior to crypto, you were into precious metals, gold and silver. Do you pay attention to the gold and silver charts at all?
I don't really. I don't. I know gold just hit like a new all-time high. It's got like a giant cup and handle going on, but I don't because I'm not really trading gold. Like I'm just stacking gold and stacking silver.
That's cool. I'm just curious if you paid attention. I didn't figure you did any paper trading. I just didn't know if you like I bring someone like Gareth on. He's obviously paying attention to so many different things when it comes to the charts. But
he's trading everything, right?
Yeah, but no, I respect your game, dude. I mean, if you find a good groove and it works for you, there's no reason in doing anything otherwise. So I would assume, because we had Honda Man talking about Casper Crew, baby. I bet Jayson has some good insight on Pepe coin. Gotta warn people, the bottom is not in yet. So I'm assuming that you didn't jump in on any of this meme craze.
No.
Okay.
I did get in on Shiba Inu during the I guess the last bull market. I FOMO'd in on that.
Did you profit on that? Or
it was insane, bro.
Oh,
that
nice.
was probably that's the most I ever made on an altcoin trade ever. It was crazy, but yeah, I'll be like totally honest with you. Right now, like in planting season, where I'm outside probably like 8-9 hours a day. I just don't have time to be paying attention to like, these meme coins and stuff, because for me, like the reason I'm here is not necessarily so I can like get rich overnight, so I can like slowly and consistently like just stack my crypto. And so I just can't be bothered with looking in all these directions when I've got like the tunnel vision on the goal ahead of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, dude, I totally respect that. Especially, I mean, when you're obviously the homesteading part's important to you. So as a farmer, farmer Jayson, farmer Casper, I don't know how you refer to your farmer alias, but
yeah,
this is the season that you should be planting your seeds for a crop that would be coming out around fall time.
Yeah, for sure. So like it's gonna be Mother's Day, I think. So yeah, everything goes in the ground and you harvest it in like the late summer, the early fall. And so, every year we expand, we do more and more. And the goal is pretty much, if we had to survive without like going to the grocery store, that would be the goal. I'm not saying that's what I want to live like, but if I had to, I could. And so, I did so much. Like we expanded our garden. We pretty much doubled our garden space this year because things are just getting so crazy, man. It's like, even if everything continues on as usual and there's no crazy black swans or bank collapses or supply chain issues, like I just want to have all the moving parts working so that if I ever have to just like, go away for a while and chill out on the property, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's I mean, dude,
I've got the fire under my butt to try and plus I love doing it, man.
Mad respect. No, I like it. And I definitely want to, in a moment here, turn the conversation over to like the homesteading stuff. Let me go ahead real quick and throw up, because I had this on screen. For people that are unfamiliar with you and want to learn more from you, because a moment ago when I thought I was screen sharing this, I was sharing your Twitter account, which if you go to your Twitter, there's a link tree. If you click on that link, it'll take you to his website, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, advanced trading course, intro to trading program, the VIP access, official merch, crypto fusion bot, and Discord. So what can people expect to find at your website and what you're offering there with your education?
Yeah, so we got over there, you could join the community, which I think is the best trading community in the world.
The Casper Crew.
I'm a little bit biased,
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we've got trading courses. I mean, that's pretty much just educational stuff. And our trading group is, I mean, I think it's a great resource for people who are trying to learn, because right now we're doing 3 live streams every single weekday for New York Open, for London Open, for Asia Open. And we got, in my opinion, some of the best traders in the world who are doing those live streams, and they're posting their TA, they're posting their trading ideas. They're not posting signals, they're not telling you when to buy and sell, but I mean, they're kind of signals in the sense that these guys are good at what they do. So when they're looking at something, it's probably a good place for you also to be looking at.
And if people wanted to do that, that's where they would enroll here on the website. Yeah,
JaysonCasperTrading.com. And there's 2 courses. I mean, one of them is just like an if you don't know anything about trading, like you don't even know about what a candlestick is, right? That first course will take you to a place where you have like the blueprint to actually do this without like gambling on all your money. And then the more advanced course is going over like just exo charts, like order flow and market profile and TPO and all that.
So this is the beginning one right here.
Yeah, looks like it, man.
And then
Looks like
this is the advanced one.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this this crypto fusion trading bot?
That's a bot that, well, a few friends of mine and myself kind of like worked on it. It's basically a tool that can trade for you. So, um, you can, it's basically for people who can't sit in front of the chart all day. You tell the bot where to look for a trade and what confirmations to look for. Like if you, let's say you want to long the golden pocket and you want like a bullish divergence on like the 4 hour and the 1 hour and the 12 minute, and you want to see money flow coming up and stuff, you could tell it to do that. And then it will basically do the whole trade is just put in for you, the take profits, the stop losses. TP1 is hit, you can move your stop loss to entry. TP2 is hit, you can move your stop loss to TP1. You can set it up however you want. There's a lot of different options in there as well, and it can pretty much any indicator you can set it up to work with. And
yeah, I was curious if you had anything to do with the design of it, so I'm glad that you explained that.
yeah, I mean, I have nothing to do with the coding of it, but definitely like the development of it and how we should get it to work and what things it should do. You know, it's basically, it was a tool that basically to take the emotions out of trading and you know, just also to take trades even if you're not like there in front of the chart. But you know,
That's
there's a whole
definitely smart.
community. There's a whole like separate Discord community for the bot as well. So
Okay, so yeah, so I'll have links down below for your website if people are interested in checking out your courses and taking advantage of the trading bot, etc. I will have links for your social media, that link tree, and your YouTube channel, which I encourage people to subscribe to.
trading bot, by the way, if you sign up, you get it for free for 2 weeks, just in case, so you can make sure if it's something you want to continue with.
So you get it for 2 weeks for free.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a learning curve to it, right? It's like you have to set it up yourself, and you can copy and paste things in there. And there's people. I mean, there's a lot of people in there who are like giving you like how they're setting it up and stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely a learning curve to it. So if you're interested, try it out for free, 2 weeks. If you hate it, get rid of it. If you like it, you know, you can keep going with it.
Word. Okay. And again, I encourage people to make sure that they're subscribed to your YouTube channel. Now, I want to talk about the homestead stuff. So I see you have a video here, how to be free and self-sufficient. Do you have a lot of content dealing with the homesteading stuff?
No, but I'm releasing a little bit more content. Like the end of my TA videos, I've been putting little snippets of like the stuff I'm doing around the homestead. But you know, I do want to make more content in that direction, because I really do think it's important for people just in general to become more like self-sufficient, not just like it's more of a mindset, right? It's not even about homesteading. It's just like, don't have a slave mentality, you know? Like
Right. Well, I mean, with you doing the trading and stuff like you're doing, you're able to bring in income. You're able to help take care of yourself and your family and put something back for the future. And then by taking the time to be self-sufficient, you're not reliant upon other people. You're probably saving money in the long run by, having all these eggs come out of your plethora of chickens. What'd you say you had?
Yeah.
30 hens?
Yeah, about 30 hens. Yeah.
So how many chickens total?
Oh man, it always fluctuates. I'd say between like 20 and like probably 50, depending on how many roosters we got in the meat bird coop.
The meat bird. Do you name them?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, in
Okay.
fact, the last rooster we killed, I think his name was Big Show.
Big Show, like the wrestler?
Big Show. Yeah. He tasted good.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was he a big rooster?
Yeah.
Was he a giant cock?
He was. He was.
And
all,
so
in all meanings of the.
You're talking about eating a giant cock and it tasting good?
I guess so.
If I was to rephrase what you actually just said.
That is correct. That is absolutely what I said. So
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. No, that's cool though, man. What other animals do you have on the farm? I like calling it a farm because it's basically what a homestead is. I think a homestead just kind of a more modern way of saying farm.
Yeah, it's just for like, you know, my own family, but right now just chickens. Like we went down the goat road and then we had to stop. So now We only have chickens. We're trying to get goats again. This year was my goal. I set out. I even posted my New Year resolution to get goats, but so far I have not gotten them, man. So
What do you want the goats for? The meat, the milk?
the milk and the meat, yeah. So right now
I
we
don't
get
like
all our.
goat milk at all.
Me neither. But you know what it is? It's like I just
You-
want. I do it for the nutrition, right? Like not for the
okay,
taste. Like
I got you. That's why
it
you're
tastes
so buff.
gamey. I guess, yeah. I mean, like, because I do eat. Yeah, I do eat like a pretty clean diet.
And you
like,
made it sound like your backyard was like a prison workout, like a prison gym.
oh, in my basement, I've got like a pretty nice prison gym going on down here.
But you had that going on growing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is super jacked. Like he's like, I mean, he's
You're
like
pretty
64.
freaking jacked yourself, man. I mean, I've let myself go over the past few years and put on some weight, but I mean, your traps are insane. I've seen some pictures on your Instagram, man, and it's yeah, you're pretty well stacked, man. I mean, it's like taking care of yourself, thinking about your future, thinking about your kids' futures, having this libertarian kind of cypherpunk mentality with the privacy. I love it, man. I think it's awesome to see people like yourself in the space because, like you were saying, when Bitcoin first came out, it seemed to be very libertarian minded.
Yeah, it was.
And
very
we seem
different.
to have gotten away from being your own bank to working with the banks.
Yeah.
And it's become so mainstream in the fact that it's just, you see what's happened to the crypto space. And in a lot of ways, that's been a very negative thing for me. It's made me a lot of times just question things. But I think it's important to have people like me and you in the space talking about these values, the values that I feel like were initiated with the Bitcoin white paper that Satoshi Nakamoto released on Halloween, October 31st, 2008, Chancellor on the Brink. And that was in the very first Genesis block on January 3rd, 2009. So, I mean, I love the fact that you have this mentality, the fact that you're showing people that you can be self-sufficient, showing people that you can be health conscious. And obviously you've been doing the health stuff for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're
I
still
do want to say,
maintaining
like, being like muscular doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy, and I like lifting weights. Like
well, you
that's
don't look like a
yeah,
roid head is what I mean.
that's good. A lot of people have been saying I do look like a roid head. I'm glad to
Okay.
hear I don't. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, health is super important. I mean, it really is just like, don't be a slave to the pharmaceutical industrial complex. Like, don't be a slave to the monetary system. And the only thing I'm a slave to is God, right? Like, so it's
Are you a
like,
Christian?
yeah, I would consider
Okay.
myself a Christian for sure.
Okay.
For
Because you
sure.
mentioned God, and sometimes, like, people, you have to define what
Yeah,
God is.
I would define my faith as the way like probably a normal Christian would define their faith. Yeah.
Okay.
I
No, I
believe
like
Jesus
that.
is God. I believe he died for our sins. I believe he's
Awesome,
coming
dude.
back.
I'm in agreement. And we've got a fellow in the house. I'm sure there's plenty of people that agree with us with what we just said, but David Brumbelow, he's very much, he's somebody that I want to have some heart conversations with, because I feel like creator, I don't like the word God necessarily because it is so, but source, creator, the creator of all, father, I do look at that as being where all this comes from. And it's something that's very important with me. I actually talk about spirituality a lot on my other channel. So I definitely would like to be
Nice.
able to bring you on and kind of dive more into like the homesteading stuff. I'd
Yeah,
like
for sure,
to,
man.
I'd love to get a tour of your place at some point, man, to see what
Yeah,
you
for
got
sure,
going
bro.
on there. I got to catch
Yeah,
your
it's nothing too
videos more.
crazy. I mean, it's really nothing too crazy. It's just a whole bunch of gardens. We've got about 6 acres and a whole bunch of chickens and totally off grid. Like, well, when I say off grid, I mean off the electric grid, off the water grid. Obviously, I got internet.
So you use alternative power sources,
Yep, we're fully solar.
100% solar. So that keeps you
100%.
up through the night and all that too.
Yeah, Tesla wall batteries, and then we've got the panels out in the field,
Nice.
and Yeah, and we've got backup generators too, if need be. In fact, I've done live streams on backup generators.
Very
Yeah,
cool. No, that's
'cause-
awesome, man. Because I mean, obviously, I don't think very many people out there. I mean, Seth from Mind Your Biz has a very similar mentality. He might have done something with a generator, who knows? But no, that's cool, man. I like that. And I mean, again, I'm just really impressed with you overall. I'm excited to see somebody in the space that really cares about the values and things that I care about. I think it's really important to keep this mentality, this vision alive, and not let the TradFi system come in and taint it for everybody. Because I think
for
that's
sure.
pretty much what's been done, especially with this recently with the Operation Choke Point 2.0 or Choke Point 2.0, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of crazy stuff going on, man. I do want to be respectful of your time. As far as I got one more question when it comes to the homesteading stuff. Would you consider that kind of coming out of the prepper mentality? And then also, what made you ultimately decide that you wanted to go this self-sufficient route?
Yeah, it does kind of come from more of a prepper mentality, I guess you could say. Like if you take being prepared for, I mean, worst case scenario, SHTF, total collapse of society, then you're gonna end up on a homestead because that's the only way. You could prep all this food, all this water, but like that's gonna run out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not like constantly making more.
No, I agree. I'm taking a moment here to show my partnership with My Patriot Supply. So if people want to take advantage,
Oh yeah, My Patriot Supply is great. Honestly, you do get for the price. I think you get the most calories, and it's good quality stuff as well.
with this particular deal with the 90-day or with the 90-day emergency food kit, they're also throwing in this Vesta self-powered indoor space heater and stove by Instafire, and all these extra things here, including a 4-in-1 solar flashlight and AM/FM weather radio with hand crank. So it's like at $1,000 in value, you're getting roughly for $800. So I have a specific link they've given me, which is prepwithrice.com. So you have to use that link, and then they have a 2-week supply. But you could take advantage of these deals if anybody wants to take advantage. Because I encourage, if you're not in it, like with me, like I can't, I'm not in a position where I can farm where I live. So there's not a lot of ways that I can be very self-sufficient, but I can be prepared for situations. Because I mean, like you mentioned, the possibility of a supply chain breakdown. I mean, the consequences of not having as much food grown in certain areas over the past year, and how that's going to affect things coming next few months now, because it takes a while for those things to really take effect. But I think over the next few months, we'll start seeing the shelves at the grocery store start to thin out on some of the choices that people have.
You can never be too prepared, man. You can never be too prepared.
No, and there's stuff like this you can just eat. I mean, if it really comes down to it, I mean,
It's
you
good
can
stuff.
take
My
some.
Patriot
I mean,
Supply is like one of the best.
I wouldn't say great.
Food.
I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, it'll help you survive. I mean, it's not like gourmet shit. I've actually seen a really lame My Patriot Supply commercial, which was like a family sitting down, like eating the stuff at dinner while the power was out. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And the little boy was like acting like he really, really enjoyed like this meal. And it's like that, the reason that you have something like that is because of situations where you don't have normal foods available to you. So I mean, I wouldn't encourage people to buy from My Patriot Supply for their daily eating. By no means. I don't take powdered food and eat that on a normal. But yeah, man, I appreciate your time. Before we wrap up, man, do you got anything else that you want to share? Any final thoughts?
Well, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it, and I'm actually excited to check out your other channel where you talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'll probably be maybe binge watching some of your content later on.
I do the law stuff. I study a lot of things in regards to like the law and the legal fiction, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, that's like where there's like two meanings of everything, right?
Well, yeah, there's as far as legal definitions, yeah. There's some people call it the sovereign citizen movement, but that those words together are kind of oxymorons. So I do talk about that. I'll talk about alternative
Yeah.
and hidden history. Um, I've done some interviews with a channel called Archaics, which is
Okay.
mind blowing, and I can't even begin to like take time to describe these things to you. But there's also a channel called Old World Florida. One of the things he talks about is Florida being the original location of the Garden of Eden and Atlantis,
Hmm.
and where Tampa is would have been the main seaport for Atlantis. There's
Interesting.
actually in Bristol, Florida, and you can look up Bristol, Florida, like you can search it on the internet, and you'll find a bunch of stuff about the Garden of Eden. They have a Garden of Eden park. They claim that's where the Garden of Eden was in that area of Bristol, Florida.
Interesting.
So I like, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with me that it seems like we haven't been told the truth about everything that's happened in our past.
Oh yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And I like to, that's kind of entertainment for me. So I like to speculate and
Me
just
too.
dive down those areas. I've done interviews with like Cliff High.
No way, man. Really?
Yeah, I've had another Max Egan I've had on the show several
Really?
times.
Wow, bro. You've
Jeff,
had a lot of.
Yeah, I've had a lot of heavy hitters, man.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
Just
I'm surprised.
supreme.
I'm surprised. I never heard of you until around the blockchain.
It's the algo doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy,
I'm glad that we got to meet. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's good. The good thing with your channel being big is, you know, I mean, like you coming on my channel, you know, gives me an opportunity to expose myself to your audience, which potentially might help me grow my channel, because the only way my channel is growing is all organically. It's not.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the YouTube algorithm saying, "Hey, watch this video about G. Edward Griffin telling you how we need to turn the tide and regain political control, and all this stuff that we're dealing with has been orchestrated by design to keep you as a slave." And yeah, I'm sure YouTube is not like, "Yeah, watch this video."
Yeah. Are you on Rumble?
I am on Rumble. I'm on Odyssey, BitChute. I'm all over the place, man, because the other channel, Rice Against the Grain, originally with Rice TVx. So when I first started my channel, I'm going to tell you this story real quick and we'll wrap up. When I first started my channel, it was originally called Rice Crypto. I was covering crypto economics and trying to teach people about the values of anarchy and voluntarism.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't having a lot of growth, and I was getting really bored with the crypto community. So after a few years in 2020, I decided to add and restructure my channel. And I added another element to it, which I called the show Stranger Than Fiction. And then I rebranded from Rice Crypto to Rice TVx because I was doing other things outside of crypto, and I didn't want to people to think that I was just a crypto channel.
Yeah.
And then I separated my show, since it was like Rice TVx. I had 3 shows: Rice Crypto Show for crypto, blockchain technology, and then Rice Report for economics and politics. And then Stranger Than Fiction was fringe topics, conspiracies, the law, legal fiction stuff, history, spirituality, and everything else. That was giving me problems. I was getting videos removed, strikes, timeouts. I was about to lose my channel.
You probably got the little boxes, the notifications on the bottom warning
dude,
you.
it is. Yeah. It was bad. So I ended up deleting all the Stranger Than Fiction content off of Rice TVx, and I'm slowly reposting them as well as new videos over on my new channel, which is Rice Against the Grain. And I did that to save Rice TVx. But when the amount of videos I deleted was more than half of the views that I had on my channel, which I was almost at 2 million views. So then it brought me under 1 million views. And then it just downgraded me even further in the algorithm status, because after a live stream, generally within like 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, the video would be done processing on YouTube's end. Now it's taking about 12 hours or so for the video to fully process before I can do like end screen cards or any of that stuff. But before, it was
what's
like,
so interesting, bro, is like I've said some things on live streams that I know I shouldn't have said, and I've noticed the same thing, but it goes away if I stop talking about that. We're saying you can't watch chat replay, you can't edit the video. Yeah.
No, it sucks, dude. And I really thought that like deleting videos off and cleaning up my channel would have like shown, you know, maybe the algorithm, YouTube, in some fashion that I'm trying to play a better game with them.
It
And
could. I mean, I mean, I do think the YouTube algorithm is forgiving. I do, because I've literally made videos on this channel about how, like, I thought, like, you know, CV19 was like totally like fake. This was like back when it first came out too. This has been in like May 2020, and my channel already had like 30K subs at the time, or maybe maybe a little less than that.
okay.
This is before I was even making like trading content, and it was like it was a bad video, right? And it got buried. Like no one saw that video, even though I had tens of thousands of subscribers. Like no one saw it. It had like 100 views, and from that point onward, like I really started to like pay attention to like what does YouTube want? They just want to make money. So if you can like structure your content in a way that would make them make money, they'll push you in the algorithm again. Like they will.
Well, I'm going to
That's in
try
my
to
experience.
change up a few things in the next month or so when I get back from Miami. Speaking of, are you planning on, do you do any traveling? Do you go to crypto conferences? You going to be
No,
in Miami next week?
no,
No,
I'm not, man.
I was just curious. Yeah, but I'm going to be restructuring some things. So, and I'm just going to be trying to play a better game of YouTube. Better game of chess with YouTube is really what I meant to say. But anyways, man, again, man, I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody for taking the time to tune in. I'm going to have links down below for everything that I was sharing. So if you guys aren't subscribed over on Jason's YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe.
See if we
Have
get to
links.
100,000 subs in the next 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah, well, I wish we had 4,000 people watching right now, or 3,800. Yeah, that would be great, but I don't think we have that many viewers. I think it's like been around an average of 100. So, but definitely, if you're not subscribed, go over there and subscribe. I'll have links for Jason's website, JasonCasperTrading.com. Also, if you want to follow him on the Twitters, you could do so at Jayson with a JAYSON_Casper. And then there is the link tree link that you will find all the other links on his Twitter account. So, yeah, man, let's definitely do this again, both on Rice TVx, and I'd like to do a conversation over on the other channel. Once you get a chance to explore what I'm doing, you know, if you want to cover some of the stuff that I'm talking about and share your thoughts, I would greatly appreciate it. So,
Sure, man. I'll be checking it out for sure.
Stand by here, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's live stream, if you could bear with me real quick. So,
Sure.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for tuning in for today's live stream. I do encourage you to make sure you are subscribed here at Rice TVx, and make sure you check out my other channel. My other channel is called Rice Against the Grain. Links are down below in the video description, as well as for my Rumble channel. You can head over to ricetvx.com and you can find all the links there as well. If you haven't smashed that like button, I encourage you to do so. And before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this. I encourage you, as always, to be a blessing to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Be the glitch that you want to see in the matrix. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And until next time, practice change.